Hi there, this is Art and Such with my Rainbow Loom tutorial for Barney Rubble from the Flintstones, and he goes with the rest of my Flintstone set. We're going to be making pretty well what you see here, and I'll be making one arm and one leg with you and asking you to pause for the others. For supplies, you're going to need your loom in the offset configuration, a couple of hooks, some skin tone bands, optional some darker tan skin tone bands for the lower face, brown bands for his outfit, yellow for the hair, a couple of black for the stitches on his shirt. I'm going to be using a couple of small black beads for the eyes, and I'll be threading them on with a piece of dental floss. You are welcome to use any other beads that you like or black bands. And I think that's it. I guess just the last note here, I will be making the arms and legs a little differently from each other, but in theory you could make them all the same way that you make the arm if you find that easier. If you have a hard time with the hook, you can try and make these on the loom, and I'm using sets of 4 bands here, so if you think you're going to have a hard time, you can always try it just like a double chain with 2 bands for each. So without any further ado, let's start on the arms. You're going to take 3 skin tone bands, wrap them once and twice onto your hook, and this is going to go onto 5 sets of 4 bands. So take 4 bands together, stretch it on your finger, a little tension here, bring your wrapped band over. Again, you can do this on the loom if you're having a hard time, and in that case you would put down your 4 bands and then wrap your 3 on top of the peg and pull it through. So we're going to do another 4 sets so that we have a total of 5 sets of 4 bands. So that was 1, this is 2, and 3, and 4. You can pause here and make your second arm. You can leave it where it is or put it on a holding hook. I'm just gonna pull this to the other side of my hook so it's sitting with my other arm. And then we can make the legs. And I'll reiterate here, you can make your legs and your arms the same way. If you want your legs to have that sort of foot divot here or whatnot, what we do is we take 3 bands, skin tone, wrap them once and twice, pull them onto 2 skin tone bands, and before you replace, you're going to take a single band and wrap it 1, 2, 3, 4 times onto the hook, put the other end back on, even it out, and pull onto another 2. We're going to try to keep these sort of in order here. And before we replace, we're going to wrap another single. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put the other end back on and pull this all onto 2 bands. And this is all going to go onto, let's put the other one back, 2 sets of 4 bands. So take 4 bands. And yes, I know we're using up a lot of your skin tone. Sorry about that, guys. It's for a fact, though. We have a purpose here. And 1 more set of 4 bands. And once more, I'll get you to pause for your other leg. You can leave these where they are or put them on a separate holding hook. And when you're ready, come back. We're going to come to the loom here. And we're going to start at the top of the loom with double yellow bands. And come down once from the top center to the top right. Once from the top center to the top left. And we'll be switching to skin tone. The lighter skin tone is going to come down 2 times with 2 bands on each of the rows. We're starting at the top, of course. Now if you want to keep using the light skin tone, that's fine. If you want there to be a bit of the afternoon, the 5 o'clock shadow on his face, you can switch to tan now and come down 2 more times on each row with double tan bands. If you're sticking with the light pink, then just come down 2 more times with that. Let's put these down and then I'll hold it up for you to see. Tell you, I kind of struggled with this pattern because I didn't want his face to be too round, but I didn't want him too Minecraft boxy. So this is one of the few times you'll see that we're not gonna close up the face. We're gonna continue on to the body here, which is kind of weird, but it works. 2, 3. Let me just check our numbers here. Okay, so that's good for the first part. We're gonna start working on the body. And the first thing that we'll need to do for the body is make our shoulder pieces here. I'm going to try to get them to face forward a little better this time. So for that, we're going to take a single brown, wrap it on the hook 1, 2, 3, 4 times, pull it onto 2 brown bands, and before you put the other end on, we're going to take 2 brown bands, put them on the hook, wrap them once and twice. Could even do it 3 times if you want to. And we're going to put this all onto 2 more bands. And what I'm going to get you to do is, let's see, we're going to put one side over the 5th peg down on the side, and the other we're just going to place right above it for now. And we'll pull that down when we're a little bit further into our design here. Okay, other one. Single brown band wrapped about 3-4 times, pulled onto 2 brown bands, take 2 bands and wrap them on before we close that up. 2 or 3 wraps, I'm just doing it twice there, and all onto 2 bands, and we'll lay it on to the 4th and 5th pegs down on the other side. And it's just there temporarily so that it'll be ready when we want it. Okay, let's start working on the body now. We're going to come down one more time with tan skin tone in the middle, from the 5th peg down to the 6th peg down. And on either side, we're going to come down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times with double brown bands. And just start at that 5th peg down, please. I'm kind of nervous about this pattern, doing this video, because I did this so many times. I have to remember which ways worked and which order everything worked in. We're going to come down 4 times with double brown bands in the center, starting at the 6th peg down. I think that is. Yep, there we go. And let's work on the body a bit more. So we're going to put holding bands, triangular holding bands across most of our brown bands here. We're going to come down to the 6th peg down on the side and take a single brown band and stretch it across. And did we do this twice? No, maybe we'll, no, that's good. Repeat that again. Just check here. Actually, we're going to get by with only one set, so we'll do our side pieces after. Alright, so let's take 2 brown bands. We're going to put both of the legs onto those same 2 brown bands. And this is going to stretch across the last bands that we or the last pegs we put bands onto, that's a 4th peg up on either side. Gonna get between the legs and pull the band that they're on over the center here. And we want to get the little ruffle here for the bottom. So let's take a single brown band, wrap it 1, 2, 3 times and pull it onto 2 bands. And we need 3 of these to start. So do that again, a single band, 1, 2, 3, pull it onto 2 bands. And last time, single band, 1, 2, 3, pull it onto 2 bands. And we're going to put this onto, was it 1 or was it 2? Onto, well, you can do 1 band or 2 bands. I'm going to put it onto 2 bands. Slide all 3 on, and these are going to go right on top of the pegs that have the legs on them, the leg pegs. So we stretch it over the legs. You want to get the side ones to the side, and the center one, you're going to get inside of it and get it so that it's sitting over that center peg. Now we want 2 more of these little frills, and they're going to go on either side, so a single wrapped 3 times, hold on to double bands, and this time you're just going to transfer the bands from your hook right onto that peg that is 4th from the bottom on the side. We'll do it one more time for the opposite side. Single wrapped, pulled onto 2 bands, and placed onto that bottommost peg there. So let me check something for you one more time before we move to the next step. Yeah, oh, wasn't that clever of me? Okay, we're going to do a side extension so that Barney is nice and square and wide here. And for that we're going to come to your 5th peg down, and you're going to take 2 bands, brown bands, and place them on top of the bands that are already there. And we're going to follow the row down. So take another 2 bands, come from your 6th peg down to your 7th peg down. And we're going to make a second layer here, just on the sides. 2 bands each time. We're coming down 5 times in total. We're going to stop when we get over our little side extension there at the bottom. Okay, other side. I got a stretched out band there. Let's get that out of the way. One more time. Alright, now let's do our holding bands. So I'm just going to use single bands. We're going to start at your 6th peg down, stretch it across, bring it up over the center. And repeat that for the side underneath. We're going to get these pretty little triangles. We'll do it again underneath that, and a 4th one below that. Okay, before we start on the face, let's get our arms sorted out here. So we're going to put one arm onto your 5th peg down on the side. This is going to be a really busy peg here. And the same for the other side. 5th peg down. I'm going to flip this around so it curves inwards more. So I just took my hook out and put my hook through it from the opposite direction. And now we're going to take those shoulder pieces, take the top brown bands off of the 4th peg, and carefully pull them down onto the peg below and push it down a little bit as best you can. We'll do the same on the right side. Okay, and I'm gonna just push these to the side a little bit for now if I can. Hold it down and twist it to the side a little. Okay, so there's our body. We'll add on the black cross after, and we're gonna work on the face now. And this was our final version. So we're gonna take a single skin tone band, light skin tone band, stretch it, twist it, double it, and bring it across the second pegs down in a triangle formation. And we're gonna take another one, stretch it. This one can be 10 actually. Stretch it, twist it, double it, and this will go not over the third pegs down, but over the fourth pegs down. And we are going to have to put in one more holding band there, but we'll get to that in a minute because it's a bit of a job. Let's make our eyes next. So, as I said, I will be using beads. If you want to use bands, what you do is you take a single block, wrap it 1, 2, 3 times on the hook, repeat with another single band, and pull them both onto a skin tone, and you'll lay them out the same way that you'll see me do the beads in a minute. For beads with a large hole in them, you can pop them on your hook and transfer them onto your skin tone. If you have beads with a smaller hole, take a piece of dental floss or a thin wire or a needle and thread, run it through both beads, run it through your band, come back over from on top, and we're gonna push this back through the beads but from the opposite direction. This is not a great piece of floss that I'm using. I think this one's kind of getting old. Oh bother. I'll get it. Thinking I should cut the end here. Or maybe I'll just get another piece of floss. I think I've got something in here. That's too small. Let's try this one. Okay, we'll do this again. Much better. Through our band and back over and back through the beads. And then you just want to grab them, pull them onto your band, and don't pull them all the way off, just to the middle. This is going to go onto your second peg down on either side, on top of the band that you've already placed. And we can get our hook in between the eyes and pull a part of that band over the peg above. At least in theory we can do that. Let's do it in practice. Okay, let's do the nose. Now, I put my nose on the third pegs down. If you want it to sit a little bit higher up, you can put it onto the second pegs and just pull it under the third peg. But I'm going to do it the way I did it the first time. A single band, wrap it on your hook 1, 2, 3, 4 times. This is our lighter pink. Put it onto a doubled over single, also light pink. You can decide how long you want your nose to be. I'm going to do one more doubled over single. And then we'll put it onto a single band and stretch it across the third pegs. And you have a couple of choices here. If you want, you can leave it loose, or you can pull it to the side so it's more towards the side. I'm going to set it right over the third peg there. And the idea being that it's going to hold it a little straighter, but that is completely up to you. Before we put on that last holding band and start finishing this up, let's make our hair extensions. So we're going to take a single yellow band, wrap it on our hook 1, 2, 3 times, and we're going to take a single, double it over. Oh, I see what I did there. Okay, and we're going to do this 2 more times. So another single, put it on your hook, wrap it 1, 2, 3 times, put it onto a doubled over single, And last one, this is going to be for the kind of curl, the tuft of hair on the side. 2, 3. That didn't work. These are so springy. 2, 3, the jelly ones. Double it over. And we're going to take all 3 of these, put them onto a doubled over single. If you're having a really hard time with it, you can always put it just onto 2 bands together. So this is going to be a little bit tight. Put the other end on and put this onto the top side peg. I'm going to put mine on the left side here, but if you want them to face the other way, it can always go on the right side. For the other hair extension, we take a single wrap it 3 times, and we're going to put it onto a doubled over band, and then another doubled over band. And I'm just going to place this onto the top right peg. So transfer the bands from the hook onto that top peg, and I missed one, so let's make sure we've got that. Now we do need a holding band in here so things don't go all loose, and it's going to be a tan band. I think what we're going to do is we're going to take off from one. Well, I'll set this on the middle first, and you can double this over if you want, but I don't think we need to. I'm going to take off the top of the shoulder extension. I'm going to take off a couple of, actually we'll take off all of the arm hair, or at least the top half. We'll do that. And let's put that tan band over onto that peg, and then we'll put these all back on. And same for the other side. We just want this band in here to hold it together. I'm taking off shoulder extension, part of the arm, and then we're going to place that back in the middle. Let me check my notes one last time, but I think we're ready to loop up. Let's make sure we have everything in place. Okay, looks good. So we're going to start at the bottom. We'll start in the center. We're going to reach under the sort of skirt extension, under the band that's holding the legs, and there are 2 bands. We're going to bring them up. They're sitting on the bottom there. They should be the only ones really curving this way. And we'll loop up until we reach the tan. So I looped up 4 times. Now on the side, what I've done is I've taken my second layer and pulled it under the little side extension puff. What we want to do is push everything down a little. Pull those top 2 to the side. Reach under the extension piece and get the top 2 that we're holding onto and bring them forward. And I got one, and I have to go back for the other. This is going to be kind of tight, so be careful. And we're going to go, just keep everything down here. Go to the next set. We want the top 2 of the bands that are coming from above. So pull those to the side, push back the other bands, and get those 2 and bring them forward. And we'll continue up the side this way till we get to the arm. Please feel free to take your time with this, because it's really important to get the right ones so you're not pulling your holding bands out, and that will be bad. Okay, you have a lot of bands up here now, so just be careful. We're gonna hold on to that 5th peg down, and from the sets above you can see there's sort of a diamond on top here. Pull that over, and you see your holding band across. You're going to push that to the side and get the next 2 that are under it. We're going to pull all the sets down until the last peg that we started on, and we'll go under and get at the bottom side. We're going to get the bottom 2. So push back everything else and just take those bottom 2 forward. And yes, it is going to be a little tight here, but this is the last time we have to work with these pegs. Just make sure you're catching all your loose bands, well, all the bands that they're not getting loose as you go. And when we get to the piece with the arm, we're going to reach right through for the bottom 2 skin tone bands. I got one. We're gonna have to pull this to the side a little. Be very, very careful here. This is where your bands are most likely to snap, and this is also the peg that you least want to have to redo here. Push back your triangle holding band and bring your next 2 bands forward, and we're going to go straight to the top, as I said. And I'm going to reach this over. It's going to go over the yellow. Okay. So in the spirit of doing things very randomly, I think I'm going to finish up my middle row next. I'm going to go back to that 6 peg down and just loop straight to the top. And yes, we could have done that first, not that I think about it, but it doesn't really matter as long as your top yellow bands are on top. So we're going to go in on the top left side, the side we just came up, and bring your yellow bands over to the center. Those are the bottom 2 we grabbed. And we need to repeat our side work for the opposite side. So I might have to turn my loom sideways a little bit. I'm going to get my bands in better order here. We're going for the top 2 bands first from under that extension we added, and these are the ones that are going up to, or coming from the peg above. We're going up with only the top 2. Push back your holding bands as you go, and stop when you get to the arms. Okay, hold on at the arms, and you're going to take, again, that top diamond shape. So you're taking 2 bands, bringing them over, push back the holding band, and take the next 2 and bring them over. We'll repeat that all the way down. When you are at the bottom here again, we can reach in, get the bottom 2 bands, and lift them forward. I'm crossing my fingers I don't break any bands here. If you do find it's really tense as you're going, if you want to ease off some of the lower sets, you can take off a bit of the tension. But you can always undo it at the end. We're going to keep going straight to the top, so reach through the arm, get the bottom 2 tan bands. This is probably the hardest part of the whole thing, if you ask me. Careful, careful. We're kind of wiggling it around, moving the hook little circles around it until it's loose. Give a little stretch to it, but not too rough. And when you're going under this band with the eyes, you're pushing back the one with the eyes on it, right? And your holding band. Go to your top side and loop to the center bottom 2 bands. And I can't tell if I got 2 or 1. I think I got both. 1 and 2. Alright, let's take a yellow band. You can take 2 if you want to. Get it ready in your left hand with your right hand. Face the open part of the hook away from you. Put your hook through all the bands on the top center peg. Make sure you've got them all. Put the band on the end of the hook and slide it up. When you get to the top, you can face your open part up. Put the other end on and pull one side over the other to create a slip knot. We're going to pull this off, make some adjustments, and finish our Barney. We start at the top and the sides and pull, ease it off, moving downwards, of course. I've broken way too many bands doing it the lazy, random pulling off whichever bands I feel like way. And this will be less intensive. It'll be nicer on our bands. It won't stretch them as much. So there's nothing like getting someone off the loom and finding he has a double chin that you didn't mean for him to have. Okay, so you're gonna find the side that you want for your front. And that's probably where your eyes are going to be protruding. You can kind of push your nose through. We'll find the nose, push them to where we want it to be. Alright, so last thing here, we're going to make the little X on his chest. Take a black band, put it on your left hand, get it ready. Come through with your hook just to the side of your skin tone bands here. So we're coming from the back to the front. You're going to grab your black band, pull it to the back. And you can put this on a C-clip or another holding band, or just keep it here. You're going to reach through, sort of feel your way to where you're going to get a diagonal and pull that black band through to the back again. I'm just going to put this on a C-clip for the moment here. Oops. Almost lost it. So there's one diagonal stripe, and we want one more to come down in the opposite direction. So reach through just to the side of the skin tone on the opposite side. Try and keep it as symmetrical as you can here. There. Grab that black band, pull it to the back, hold it or put it on a C-clip, and reach through diagonally down, so we're crossing over the other piece. You're going to pull that through to the back, put one side over the other, and this can go on the C-clip as well. And there, I think we're done. There is your Barney Rubble, and I hope you'll check out the rest of my Flintstone sets. And thank you for watching.